makeup can be your best friend, and it can make you look so much younger if you're choosing the right textures and you're using the right sort of techniques. Okay, onto the eyes. Now, the weird thing about eye makeup is that as you get older, you certainly want to wear eye makeup. It's the one time in your life when I think you can't get away with not wearing eye makeup, because when you're young, you can kind of wear no eye makeup and you can wear tons of eye makeup. And as you get older, you've got to be so careful. You can't wear no eye makeup anymore because all the contours are going, you know. If you think that like your brows are up here and you have that lovely deep socket line as you're younger, unless you've got hooded eyes, but you know, everything starts to sort of slacken off, and your eyes can become quite invisible. You know, your brows are thinning down, maybe your lashes are less luscious and thick, and you're losing your contours, and you're getting dark and shadowy, and all that can mean that, you know, the beauty of the eyes is completely lost. And I swear by eye makeup for women older, you know, 40s, 50s, whatever. It's just the best thing, but you have to be careful how you do it. Now, one of the techniques that I use is you don't really want to be using very shimmery, glittery eyeshadows, because they're not going to work, like metallics and all of that stuff is going to show up. But you also don't want to be using chalky mattes, you know, mattes that are too pale. The sort of textures you want are either ones that have low level purlin, so like the Dior ones, that's the Dior ones I like, they almost look like they're not shimmery, but when you put them on they have a little bit of luminosity, a little bit of shimmer, quite subtle. They're really good. Or quite soft mattes, so mattes that don't have that chalky texture to them. A good thing to do is to sort of invest in something like this, which is the Bobbi Brown, one of their palettes, where you can choose all your colours and you can get some mattes and some sort of low level shimmers and sort of get a kind of basic kit together for every day. But the main thing you're trying to do is recess this area. You want to sort of put back your socket line that you used to have. So if you sort of raise your eyebrows to start with and kind of just pat where you think it should be, and then you can relax your brow and you can see if that's the right place, and then you can just kind of trace in that socket line, and it should be pretty simple. You don't need to sort of spend hours on this, but something really simple, it just gives you that feeling of depth in the eyes. Because lashes are becoming much more sparse, a good thing to do is to use a pencil. Instead of using it in a line, is just to use it, sort of massage it right into the roots of the lashes, so you can just sort of feel it tickling. It feels quite weird, but what that will do is give the illusion of thicker eyelashes before you've even started with your mascara. So you can just see that sort of just going into the roots of the lashes just gives that illusion of slightly thicker eyelashes. Essential is curling the eyelashes. If you can't face this, think about having an eyelash lift, which is similar to a perm. Instead of them going back on themselves, they go straight up, and that's, I think, I used it a lot in 10 years younger, and it just made such a difference. Mascara, I think, is essential as well if you want to sort of look younger. Something that's nice and thickening. So lots and lots of mascara into the roots of the lashes is really, really helpful, because they tend to become thinner. And there's no point sort of just lengthening thin lashes. You want to create bulk at the root. That's the thing that's really going to be most effective. So a combination of the penciling at the roots and also building up with a volumizing mascara is going to really, really help, just to give definition, and that's what it's all about, really bringing the definition back. In terms of colours, I think any colours, you know, look great, apart from incredibly bright and very, very pale chalky pastels, which I think can start to look very aging as you get older. But all the neutrals and the warm khakis and aubergines and plums and all of those colours can look really great. Now onto eyebrows. You need to pay attention to your eyebrows as you're getting older. They start to get kind of crazy, they get too thin, they start sticking out, they're long. This is not going to be an eyebrow film, so I mean, I need to spend a good 10 minutes doing a separate one on eyebrows. But just to say that either if you have any gaps, fill them in with a powder. Body Shop do really nice little duo powders, which are great. You can use those just to sort of mix with the brush, fill in any little gaps. If you don't have any structure already, then use a pencil. MAC do great pencils. The main thing is you don't want to use the wrong sort of colour. And also you don't want to end up with a harsh line. So black eyebrow pencil is a big no-no. Even if you've got black hair as you're getting older, I think it's so aging. You know, and the dramatic line drawn in. Ones that are too red and they get those chestnutty brown colours, they can look so aging as well. So the ashy browny, sort of more natural looking colours, MAC are very good for those, Sukyu as well. So if you do need a bit of structure as well, you can do some fine lines. Keep it quite feathery. You don't want to end up with a solid block. And then you can either use a powder to sort of further enhance them or just sort of use your fine strokes. If you have big gaps or you're very, very sparse or you over plucked when you were younger, the best product to use is this one. I've been using it for years. It's the Sukyu felt tip liner, pen. And the great thing about it is you can literally draw little strokes. And the best thing about that is that it's completely waterproof. I've used it a lot on women who've had chemotherapy and really have sparse eyebrows that have all fallen out. And it just gives such a natural effect. And once it's set, it stays on. So think about your brows. Another good thing to do is to gel them into place, especially if you've got some wild ones that are going everywhere. It's so aging to have kind of crazy brows. This is a Shivata brow tamer, which I really like. And that'll just sort of hold them in position. It just makes you look groomed, pulled together, and it's just a more youthful sort of face. Last but not least, lips. Now I put a lip plumping sort of colour gloss on about 10 minutes ago. This is my favourite. I've been using these for years, which are the Lip Fusion plumping glosses. And the way I use them is they take about 10 minutes to fully plump up. These ones don't rely on allergens. They're not incredibly, some of them really sting. These have hyaluronic particles in, they sort of just swell up. They sort of take moisture and expand. So if you put them on at the beginning of your makeup, which I did, and then after about 10 minutes you can feel your lips have really plumped up. That's why my lips are looking nice and luscious. But I only put a small amount on. It's just to sort of give a little bit of slip and also to get it working. Because I also find they don't plump up if you put them on top of lipstick or on top of something else. Once I've done that, then I just sort of start to give them a definition back, because if you're getting older, you can lose a lot of definition around the edge, and also they can become a lot thinner. So just by adding a touch here and there, wherever you need it, wherever the lack of definition is, you don't need to do a solid line all the way around, just sort of add bits here and there, and also make sure that you come onto the lips as well. And you're kind of making it a very soft thing. You don't want it to look like a pencil, a hard pencil line, but you do want to give that definition. And then in terms of colours that you're going to use, you can either just continue with something like a nice creamy gloss, like a lip plumping one like this, which is always going to be great, especially if your lips are becoming quite thin, or you can use lipstick. And the kind of colours I recommend are something that gives vibrancy. So some of these sort of lovely mid-tone corals, depending on your skin tone obviously. Some of the sort of poppier reds, like the sheer reds, look beautiful. The colours I would definitely avoid are the kind of dead lilacs, so the ones that look a bit sort of like you're a dead body, or the really, really pale pinks that just drain all the colour from your face. They look great when you're young, and instead go for these sort of more peachy, almost like something that's a few shades brighter than your natural lip colour. So it's got vibrancy to it. You can tell straight away you put a lipstick on, your face comes alive. That's the kind of colour you're looking for if you're aiming to look younger. Pinks are brilliant for this as well. So any of these vibrant, sort of creamy pinks. And the only things I'd avoid, to be honest, unless you've got amazing lips, are these kind of really, really dark colours. All the really sort of almost aubergine, the matte colours, all of those, they're drying, the sort of dry matte colours. Textures rather, and the very dark colours, because they can sort of just make your lips look very thin, and they can just be quite aging. So they're just some of my anti-aging tips. I mean, each one's a film in itself. I'm sure I'll get around to it eventually, and I have ended up with one eye done and one eye not, but I hope that was helpful, and thanks for watching.